What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the Triple Threat Survivor Podcast. I am your host, Ethan.
And I'm your other host, Quinn, and welcome back to the first episode of our podcast.
So in today's episode, we wanted to come on here a week before the actual show starts to really kick things off and do an intro episode to tell you guys what this series is going to be about and what we're going to be doing on our podcast.
What exactly are we going over today, Ethan?
So we're going to go over why we are Survivor fans and what we know about the series. We're also going to go over really how we're going to do this podcast and when we're going to be posting them. And at the main end, we're going to show off our Survivor draft that me and Quentin did along with one of our other friends and go over really what we were thinking while drafting and what we think our team will bring to the table.
I think the drafts are going to be very interesting this season.
I do too. I was excited. I got the first overall pick, and I think I maybe picked the winner with my first pick. But we'll save that for later. So first of all, I'm just going to start real quick. So I have been watching Survivor ever since I was a little kid. My whole family has... Not my whole family, but a lot of the members of my family watch Survivor. Mainly me and my mom. And I have watched not every season, but I've watched, I would say, at least 40 of the, 50 by the time this starts seasons. So, but I'm a big fan of the past seasons. Some of my favorite players include Boston Rob, Tony, Sari, kind of Russell, and Coach, obviously.
I would say I am a new generation of Survivor fan. I have started watching Survivor ever since season 32. Not that. And my driving solo game, as you can see from it in the few minutes, is all new gen Survivor players.
I thought that was very interesting. That if we didn't plan that or anything, but it goes straight down the line. I picked all not old people, but old players, and you picked all new players. I thought that was very interesting. And who are your
To be fair, the only person I knew from the old generation was Coach Solgate because you and I started talking about him.
I was excited. I was excited to see him play again. He was always one of my favorites, and he initially said no. Fun fact. I don't know how big of a public knowledge that is. That's also something in this podcast. I'll just go ahead and throw it before we get into Quentin's favorite players. We're going to try to bring not only the knowledge shown in the game, but similar to the On Fire podcast, we're also going to try to do some stuff like that and show some talk about some behind the scenes and compare them to their previous seasons. Because that's one thing that's kind of special about this being the 50th season and it being an all-star season is everybody has played before.
Yeah, so no one can have any secret alliances this time like certain people did last season.
Yeah, and that's going to be, that's always, like, I know from the past, my favorite seasons have always been, like, Heroes versus Villains, the all-star seasons. Which, for Quentin, you say you started in season 32?
Yep.
So, you've never witnessed... Well, did you watch Winners at War?
I have.
You have? Okay, so you got to see Winners at War, so that's pretty much that's the ultimate season. But, and then we kind of went off track. Who's some of your favorite players, Quentin?
Some of my favorite players, I would say number one would have to be Joe.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I feel like he got robbed in his season, but overall, he's still my favorite player.
Okay, and then Joe, you're lucky. You get to see your favorite player come back the season. Not the season after he played. I keep on forgetting that was not last season.
Yeah, it felt like it was last season.
Yeah. I
feel like we went off track. We need to explain what Survivor is before we get more into it.
Yeah, we are. And by the way, I want this. Me and him was talking right before we started this. I want to make it a point that this will get better. I already know that the background, the little thing there, is kind of sloppy, a little bit, clearly AI generated, and all that. We plan on fixing this. We were just sitting around one day talking, and he said, hey, do you want to do a Survivor podcast? And I was like, oh yeah, that'd be cool. And then 3 months went by, and it's like, wait a minute, let's actually do this. So we just kind of over the last 2 or 3 days started throwing this all together. I had no idea how to get these little talking bubbles on the screen, and he had to FaceTime me and show me how to do it on his computer because we don't. I know this is kind of obvious because we're doing online and not in person, but we don't live anywhere near each other. Or actually, Anyways, I'm off track again. So, do you want to go ahead and explain what Survivor is, and I'll shut up and try to think a little harder what I'm talking about?
Yes, I will explain what Survivor is for those who do not know, which I'm not blaming you for joining the podcast, but why are you on here if you don't know what Survivor is?
Welcome in.
Anyway, Survivor is a strategy game where you have about, how many players was it again? About 15 players?
Nowadays, this season is 24, but normally it's around anywhere between 16 and 18, just depending on the season theme.
Anyway, you're going to have 3 teams to look at, split in 3 different islands. And throughout the day and you're going to be trying to find idols. Idols are these little things that can help you throughout the game until you get. You can have an extra fold. You can steal a fold. You can. What else, Ethan?
Over the years, idols have been able to do many things, like you said. There's one there's the new one recently with the what does it do? Like the. See, if this wasn't like other idols, you got the immunity idols, which just save you. You got the block a vote, steal a vote. You got the one where you can leave tribal council. There's so many. There's the newer one where the shot in the dark's not an idol, but that's something that's also newer. And then got the one where you can ask someone, hey, do you have an idol? And if you have it, you have to give it to them. That's I think it's so cool, and it's crazy that it's never worked in like the 10 seasons they've had it.
Speaking of the shot in the dark, what is the shot in the dark?
Oh, okay. Well, the shot in the dark that's just whenever you go. That's the thing. That's what they officially call it. They don't say the name of it much. That's just the one time you have per game where you go and instead of voting, you have like a 1 in 6 shot of being safe.
Which most of the time never works. Most of the time,
I believe it's only worked twice. One with Caleb. I know his name was Caleb. I don't know what season. It was the season with D on it. I think that's Survivor 45. I'm not quite sure.
45, 46, yes.
Yeah, 45, 46. And then one other time it worked, but I don't remember, or maybe I thought it did and it didn't. I don't know. I don't really. I'm sure during this series we'll get into my Survivor opinions because I'm like an old man. But like, when it comes to Survivor, back in the early 2000s is when I liked it, but I don't like the shot in the dark. I think now if you get that as like an idol or so, anyways, so Quentin pretty much got the point. It's just a big strategy game where about 16 to 18 people get split into tribes of 3, go to an island, or that's a very new way to explain it because that's how it's been for the last 10 seasons. Well, really, even before, that's how it's been. Really, back in my day, I feel like an old man again. It used to be around 16 people being split into 2 tribes, but again, that is off topic. So what we're going to try to do is record these. We're going to watch Survivor on Wednesdays, then we're going to come and meet up somehow via online and talk about on this podcast what we thought about it, and we're going to try to get these up at Friday at, did you say 7 o'clock?
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on Fridays for a Triple Threat podcast, so make time and enjoy. So this is going to be nice. So that's really what we want to do with the first episode, but of course now let's get into some of our opinions on this season, some pre-game thoughts. Obviously today is Wednesday the 19th, so it's not Wednesday, it's Thursday the 19th, so we are 6 days away from Survivor 50. So going into the game, Quentin, before we show our draft or whatever, who do you think has 0 chance to win?
Ooh, 0 chance.
0 chance. They don't got a shot, jokingly, they don't got a shot in the dark to win. Who is out of this game before it even begins, and don't you dare say coach.
Okay, no, I know better not to.
That's what my mom said.
No. Okay. Who do I think will not win this? Ooh, this is going to be a tricky one because we got so many good players.
I'll go ahead and switch it to the draft screen just so you guys can see all the players up front. Ignore that little transition. That's for other things. But anyways, that's the draft, by the way. We'll get to that in a second. But first of all, who do you think has 0 chance to win it?
Ooh. See, this is very difficult for me because half of these players, I know they are very good at the game until again. But then they're half until again. They're like, why are you here until again?
Yeah. Oh, that's actually the next question I wrote down here. I got a doc, by the way, guys. That's some things I wanted to hit in this first episode. That's actually coming up next. So if you want to go ahead and answer that question first, who do you think deserves to be here the least?
Okay. I'm going to answer the first question you asked me. Who I think is not going to win this 100%.
Yep.
Rizzo. I think Rizzo, my opinion, Rizzo, I think he got very lucky in his season that he didn't get folded out because nobody has seen him as a competitor until yet. He just got lucky.
Do you know what I find really surprising about Survivor 49? I didn't realize how hated Rizzo was, or how many people disliked him. I was kind of rooting for Rizzo after that one dude got evicted. What is his name? The guy who acted in Spider-Man, was his name Nate? He had like the glasses?
Pretty sure, yeah.
Yeah, whenever he got evicted, I was like, alright, I'm rooting for Rizzo now. So yeah, I didn't know that he was as disliked, but people didn't like him for some reason.
Hey, I don't dislike him. I'm just saying, I think he got fair lucky in the season.
When he hooked onto Savannah, and I'll go ahead and answer the question too. Who do I think has zero shot to win? I'm actually going to go a very similar. Well, I don't think he got lucky, but I don't think he can get all the way back and win again because I think he's going to have a huge target on his back. I think Kyle has a low shot of winning.
Kyle, yes.
I think he's a great player, by the way, and I like him too. I would not be upset if he's the third two-time winner at all. But I just don't see them looking at him and being like, man, this guy's so good at the game and I like him so much. Let's just let him get to the end again. I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, no, not happening.
This is, by the way, future Ethan and future Quentin and future viewers. If Kyle or Rizzo win, this is going to be the funniest thing in the world. If they manage to win. And I'll go ahead and tackle this first. Who do I believe shouldn't be there? It's kind of hard because I kind of always like the All-Star seasons when there's one sneak, maybe someone who shouldn't be there. But for me, as much as I like him, I'd have to say probably Colby. I really like Colby. But he's he's been back a little too many times. And the last few times he's been on, again, I like Kobe. Remember, I'm an old Survivor fan. He was one of the original All-Stars. You know, I've watched him every time he's played. And I've liked him every time he's played. I was very upset when he did not win Survivor Australia. Or not Australia, but Survivor 2. I thought he should have won over Tina. But he didn't, obviously. I don't know why I made sure to yeah, he didn't win. That's why he's... Anyways. But the last couple of times he's came back, he's not really offered much to the game. Although he always makes it far, he don't really offer much. And the other one I'd have to say is Tiff, because I'm not quite sure...
That's who I was going to pick.
That's who you're going to say. Yeah, Tiff does kind of stand out in this group, because she didn't really... I mean, I think everyone else here rather almost won their season... -A season, or was really good. In fact, looking at the cast right here, I can't think of another player I would even... Again, I said Colby, but even Colby, you know, he got second in his first season, and in Survivor All-Stars, he was right back there again, and in Heroes vs. Villains, I mean, he every bit was in the final 6, I believe. So, I mean, I don't know who else other than Tiff would say. So yeah, I think Tiff.
I feel like Tiffany. I feel like she will be like one of the first ones to get it out this season, just because of that reason right there.
See, I wonder if and this isn't Survivor, but this is another show that I'm crazy about as well, Big Brother. So with Big Brother All Stars, there's a couple people that the people in the game deemed as they shouldn't be there. They called them the floaters, and what they did is all the good players like Dr. Will, Mike Boogie, Daniel Reyes, James, I forgot his last name, all got together and said, and a lot of other ones said, let's get out the floaters first, and that's what they did. So I wonder, like Quentin said, will these people be like, especially on, well, I was looking at Quentin's team thinking that was the tribe, but that's not the tribe she's actually on. She is actually on the Kalo tribe. You know, with that tribe, you know, you got D, you got Jonathan, you got smart people like Charlie, Camilla, or Mike, I think, is also a very smart guy. Which Tiffany, I'm not saying that she's like dumb or bad at competition or anything, but will they look and be like, okay, she may be the weak link early on. Also, her connection to Q.
Ooh, I haven't thought about that now. Ooh.
So there's a lot of connections like that.
Yeah, I feel like she's just gonna probably. I feel like there'll be some times that she'll pull her weight, but other times I feel like she's gonna really speak her mind too much. But that's in Survivor, you do not want to do that.
Yeah, that's normally how you get killed or eliminated.
But other person, I will say that probably ain't gonna make it in this season that long is Aubrey, because
could not agree more. Could not agree more.
She seems like, I want to say smart player, but I feel like she's a decent player that should make it like 2 tribal councils, and they'll kick her off probably.
Have you ever watched Aubrey play in any of the seasons?
She was in season, I can't remember, what season was she in, if you can remind me.
She was in, her first season was Brains vs. Bronze vs. Beauty 2. Then she's come back a few times. So you probably have watched her. You said you started in season 32. Yep. She's came back, she was a finalist once too. It was her, Ty, and Michelle, I think, was in the finale. They voted for Michelle to win, which at the time a lot of people were like, why in the world did Michelle win? Later did people know that Michelle would come back at Winners of War, get 3rd, make it to the end again though, final 3. And then she also won the challenge 1 or 2 times. Fun fact. Again, random show. Again. I don't watch the challenge that much. I just know that there's been some Survivor winners like Michelle on there. But I would definitely agree that she has a lower shot.
Now here's a question I want to ask. Who is some players do you think they're going to get eliminated just because how good they are in the competition?
See, looking at the tribes initially, which one thing we need to do definitely in the future future episodes is pull up the tribes they're on and not this. This is not the thing that's on your guys' screen right now. Is not the tribes in the show. This is just who we drafted, where we drafted them. Looking at the tribes right now on my other screen, I mean, I hate to say it, Survivor's very strength. You could be smart and make it far with competitions, but nothing outbeats being strength. And in my mind, the Vatu tribe is definitely not going to win that many physical competitions.
No.
They're not going to. And I think that is that a G or C? I can't really tell. The Kyla or the Gyla tribe is going to run away with a lot of the physical competitions, just looking at the group. They got Savannah, she was a beast. Joe, one of the strongest players to ever play the game. Ozzy, which, Ozzy's got some age on him now compared to his first few seasons, but still, he's been back so many times because of how strong of a competitor he is. Jenna was always pretty strong. Emily, I don't remember if she was strong or not, like physically. And then Serene, and then you also got the smart people there. Emily, Christian is one of the smartest people, maybe the smartest person to ever be on Survivor, just from an IQ standpoint, or at least he's.
You got to think in his season Sologate, he was actually pulling his weight against Joe and Sologate too.
Yeah, so I mean, you never know. So have you been which? We'll talk about the draft right after this, but have you been watching that CBS has had the shows each season on for the last couple days?
Ooh, no, I have not.
So people have been, I know my mom has been watching them religiously, and she keeps on saying, Ethan, come on, watch Survivor's on. And I'm like, Mom, I can tell you exactly what happens at this specific, I've watched every single one of these people play before, except, ironically, Jenna. I've never watched Survivor 1. It's kind of weird, but that's just one of the seasons I've never watched all the way through. So, but without further ado, let's go ahead and get to the draft. So, in the draft, I had the number 1 pick. So, not only are they in order, it went me, then Quentin, then our friend Landon, which is hard to see with the green. I don't know why I made it green. And the order that they are in the boxes from, 1, 2, 3, 4, that is the order that they were selected. Which means, ironically, we were just talking about how Aubrey has a small chance of winning. She was the last pick. She is the Miss Irrelevant, as they say in football terms. Meanwhile, Coach, Joe, and Ozzy were the number 1 picks. So we'll just go one-on-one, and I guess we'll talk about our opinions when drafting them, and then with what our friend Landon thought, because, we're not him. And it's also a good thing to know, me and Quentin are avid Survivor fans. Landon is not. He's just a good sport that kind of said, he watches it from time to time, so he mainly watched the last 2 or 3 seasons, as you could see with Q, Rizzo, Savannah, a lot of the the extremely most recent people. So
even so, he was still having trouble picking his team.
yeah, he has he don't know who Jenna Lewis is. He has no idea who she is. I think he didn't know who Genevieve was. I think so, and he didn't know who Ozzy was somehow, which I was very surprised because he obviously definitely didn't watch them seasons because Ozzy was, he was one of the original players.
Yeah, I'm surprised he knew who he was.
Yeah, and especially to pick him as his first pick. Yeah, so even the modern day, which that's one thing that kind of surprises me. Modern day Survivor players probably don't know who Ozzy, Suri, Coach, Colby, them people. Which that just to me, I don't know. I'm old. Not actually old, but in Survivor terms, I'm ancient. So anyways, so to start, I picked Coach with the number 1 pick because he is one of my favorite players and he's in the season. It's as simple as that. Do I think he's going to win? Probably not.
Well, my first pick was Joe, obviously. That's who I think has a good chance of winning this Silhouette because he's not just a strong player. He can actually connect with other players in Silhouette. In this season, he had good alliances and they didn't want to get. So I feel like he will make it far if he doesn't win, but he'll still make it far.
Would you say that Joe really is a triple threat?
I would say yes.
That's by the way, that's where we got our podcast name from. The triple threat is, when people are, the 3 things survivors outwit, outlast, outplay, or brain, brawn, beauty. Joe kind of has it all. Well, beauty as in, social standards. You don't have to be beautiful to win Survivor, I don't think. But, I don't know. Anyways, so with my second pick, I chose Rick Devens. Again, because he's one of my favorite players. I kind of picked who I liked a little bit more than thinking. I know a lot of people nowadays are going to look at these drafts and be like, you seriously let him take Joe, Jonathan, D, Charlie, and Kyle back to back to back to back to back? And, yeah, I don't know what I was thinking. I especially could have got Kyle or Charlie, but I don't think they'll win. I'm picking a winner, not who I think is going to do good. But, yeah, I picked Rick Devens. Also because Rick Devens is pretty good at the game. He knows what he's doing. And then Quentin picked Jonathan, and everyone's like, oh, okay. He picked the 2 strongest people straight off the bat. Was that what you were thinking?
Well, that was that, and Jonathan's season is okay. Yes, he did very good in his season too, and so yeah. And yes, that was why I picked him too. I wanted the strong people.
Yeah, and then I did the unthinkable, and I picked Colby, which I was just talking earlier, how he shouldn't be back. But I could see Colby going far. Now he's kind of, he played in Survivor 2, then Survivor All-Stars, then Survivor Heroes vs. Villains. He has not played the game in 30 seasons. So he's going to be a different guy. Survivor it's been over 25 years since his first time he played the game. He's a different person now. So I think people may not, I know it's insane, but they may not realize that he's the same guy, and he may surprise them. Maybe. I don't see it, but it could happen.
Now, with D and Silhouette, when I picked her, honestly, I don't remember what was going through my head. Only that, again, she's a strong competitor than Silhouette. She won her season. That's part of why I only picked her, honestly.
She won her season, and she won pretty dominantly, which one thing I just realized here, there's only 2 winners in this whole tribe, and you picked both of them. You picked D and Kyle. Oh, wait, Savannah won. Never mind. That's not even true. That's not even true. Savannah won and Lana picked her.
Yeah, somehow.
Yeah. So, in my mind, Christian, my thing with him is he's very smart. He's smart. Now, socially, I don't, wasn't always the best social person in the world. I remember he had that strong bond with Nick, who eventually won that season, David versus Goliath. But, you can make an alliance with anyone. So, he really didn't help Nick get to the end. He just had an alliance with him. But I think Christian could be a good competitor. And then, but now, Charlie is someone that, looking back, I regret drafting. So what was going through your head when you drafted Charlie?
Ooh, okay. So Charlie, like I said, during his season, he's very smart. I don't know if he has a good social status, but He had a decent one. And, like I said before, he held his own against Joe and Soulgate, one of the strongest competitors ever in Survivor and Soulgate.
Yeah.
So, the reason I picked him and Soulgate. And I feel like if him and Joe both go on the verge, I feel like there would be an alliance between those two. Just saying.
Oh, yeah. They'll rekindle their old
rivalry.
Yeah. Which that's one thing also, you know, are you friends with the people you're friends with originally, or do you try to, you know, switch it up and go against them? That's going to be interesting to see with people like Kyle and Camilla, Savannah and Rizzo, Q and Tiff. Like, do they switch up on their people?
I feel like for this season, we're going to have an alliance that is going to be all strong people again, like how they did in the past.
Yeah.
I feel like it's going to be a mix of having your friends in it, but also some new people, because you don't want to just have an alliance with your friends. You got to make new alliances. Yeah. You got to form them. That way you can move on farther in it. And you also want to have that one person that you can probably push out of the side if you need to in Soulgate.
Yeah. You always got to have your number one, and then you're like number two, your number three, your number four. And then you have to have your negative one. You got to have that one person that you... I think it is essential to pick out someone and not beef with them. Like, you don't have to be like, I hate you, and just like go after them and start bullying them or anything. But you got to have someone to target. You got to have that person.
See, if I was making an alliance, I would have obviously my number one, number two, people I can trust. And that one person I'm only using for a vote, and that person I can vote out whenever it's looking bad for me.
So then in the draft, speaking of all the social thing, I picked Sari. Now Sari has played this game a lot, and I don't know. A lot of people probably looking like, is Sari overused at some point? You know, she's played the Traitors. She's been on Big Brother. She's been on Survivor like 6 times. I mean, is she overused? Possibly. Does that mean that she can't win? Absolutely not. She's still a good player, you know. She can still win. That's honestly why I drafted her. I didn't, you know, after the first, you guys got to think, after the first couple people went off the board, it starts to get kind of, you know, hard to draft some people.
Yes, it was very difficult. I got my first 5 in like that one, like Kyle versus Kyle, thank the Lord.
So you had a strong 3 there. You had Kyle, Emily, and Camilla. Which I don't... There's nothing wrong with Chrissy and Mike, but I kind of, like with the draft order, I took Sari with Kyle and Genevieve both being still out there. So I'm not sure. I was just really... I think the first 4 I have is really good. But I would say overall, with the drafting portion, I think you outdid us on the draft.
See, I think with my team on drafting I feel like about 90 to 80% of these people, I'm not going to say who the 2 ain't going to be going to merge, because I don't want to jinx it. But I feel like if my team goes to the merge, I feel like about everybody on my team will have an alliance together in Soulgate. Mostly because they're strong competitors in Soulgate.
Do you think that there'll be a new era versus old era split?
That is a possibility. And if it is, I'm hoping there is, actually, because that'd be very interesting.
It'd be really easy. I think the new era would pick the old era off very quickly, because I don't think the old era really doesn't have that much support. And also, the old era people, you know, like, for example, Coach is a one-off person, Devins is a one-off person. You do have, like, Christian and Mike and Angela, which are all together, which I don't see Angela on this draft board. I might be missing her or something. I don't see her on this draft board. Oh yeah, wait, I took her. Never mind. She's on my team. I don't know what I'm doing. But anyways, so, you know, and then the new era, you got Q and Tiff. You got Rizzo and Savannah. You got a bunch of people. Also with the deal of they haven't watched Rizzo or Savannah play.
No, they have not, so
that's
they're not going to know this.
Is that an advantage or a disadvantage? Now, the only other time in Survivor history that's happened is with Russell Hantz. In season 19, he played, and then he was brought back for Survivor Heroes versus Villains in season 20.
Yeah.
And also, they could lie. Especially with Rizzo and Savannah being friends, they could lie about how they played. They could both just say, we got lucky.
They could probably pull like Kyle and Camilla move until it get acting like they don't like each other, don't know. And
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah,
act like they were friends.
Yeah, the thing is, they can't do that this season now until they get Kyle and Camille because everybody already knows at this point that they're friends until get.
I wonder. One thing I was wondering is if one of them gets out early, will the other one go far? Like if they cut Kyle early, will Camilla now go far? Because she was a really smart player. Like she was honestly. I would argue that if she was in the final three, she may have beat Kyle.
Probably, yeah. So, if one of them gets cut off until we get early on, yes, I do believe the other one will make it far until we get.
I think either way, I think this is going to be a very interesting season, and I think that future episodes we're going to have a lot more to talk about, and obviously we'll have the episode in front of us. Not in front of us again. We're not showing the episode. That's illegal. But we're gonna be here. We're gonna be on YouTube and on Spotify, and we're gonna have a TikTok. Maybe we're gonna try to get this better for future episodes. But I believe, unless you have anything you want to add, Quentin.
No, I think that's it for today's episode.
That's the end of today's episode. So again, in the description below, on YouTube and or Spotify, whichever one you're watching this, will be a link to the other one, along with the link to the Triple Threat Podcast TikTok, where we're going to be posting some things on there about Survivor. Not necessarily, clips about the podcast, because, there's nothing to do here yet. But hopefully in the future there will be stuff, and check out for updates. This episode should be going out roughly around 7 o'clock on Friday. And yeah, hope you guys stay tuned and enjoy the rest of the series.
And if you want to ask any questions, don't forget to put a comment down below. And if you want to see more episodes of this, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and leave a like for us too. That way we can continue doing this.
Yes, absolutely. If you guys have any suggestions for the series, or you just want to leave your own opinions, if you guys want to answer answer any of the questions we asked, about the who do you guys think will make it far, who do you guys think won't, who shouldn't be there, leave it down below, and we'll try to make it a talkative comment section.
And heck, you might get a shout out in the next episode probably if we pick your question.
You may. If you guys have a question you want us to answer, just let us know. Just really type whatever you want in the comments, and we'll do something with it.
Until then, we'll see you next time.
All right, see y'all.